Vetin bako ntokwa bibiri. Vetin bako ntokwa bibiri. Ņ'Ðisgṛáce susu bibiri. Vetin bako pu. Akwa we peso jiniti. Afenyo Markin akwa jineni so. Eye Ghana our national anthem. And our struggle. I'm at the chairman of the committee says so. Or prega. Wapra Fedwans wajiwani so. Afedwans said why go any massy. Again this Afenyo Markin catch a Supreme Court judge nominee say onto the national anthem. Supreme Court judge and a very sincere or any answer say one shed him to beat him out to bet 20 min to ye pepe. Also to do beat him out to just all to Nadio. Afenyo Markin I just uncle to us what to as in Aku Yabonyamano, Inkunkutin Reciting, and Ðisgṛáce any Sikori.
But let's look at the general discourse in the public space. Some people are even arguing two consecutive terms. That if a president serves one term, loses election, and wins again, and comes, he can seek for re-election. Well, what's your view on that?
My view is on the text in the Constitution. 2 terms. There's no indication as to concurrent or consecutive. So that my thinking is, I've told you that Article 66, in my view, is plain and does not call for interpretation at this stage.
Very well.
Based on the facts you've given to me. Thank you.
My lord, are you a registered voter?
Yes, I am.
Where did you register?
Ayawaso, West Wogan.
My lord, you have followed the politics of your country. Would you suggest ways to improve the politics to make it very attractive for public-spirited Ghanaians to partake in?
Mr. Chair, my response to this question would be, can all of us be Ghanaian patriots rather than political bigots? If we want to be patriots and we see our nation as a country that is worth serving, I think we can cut down the politics and this nation will be better off for it. Thank you.
My lord, if you say we cut down the politics and this nation would be better, I agree. But are you able to give some 3 specifics that can help enrich this whole process?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. First and foremost, I think you, the politicians, ought to know that in an election, there can only be a winner. And you are calling on the Ghanaians to make a decision on your agenda and your proposition. Can we all respect Ghanaians that we've come to you for your vote based on policies we present rather than things that we do to have people vote for us? I think the internal democracies of these parties ought to be geared towards that so that it will reflect in the general elections. And that is what I call being Ghanaian patriots first. Thank you.
My lord, what you've just said in parts can be attributed to civic education, where the populace also get the necessary education, which education would help enhance the whole process. Do you think that enough attention has been given to civic education? And if not, what proposals have you in mind?
I wonder if now schools still have civics. As when we were in school, we studied civics. making our nation first. But I think much of the education must come from you, the political parties, because it is what you give to your supporters that they demonstrate. So that if all of you will see that, let us feed them with the right information, and the information is building a nation, I think when the NCC and the rest come in, then that will become another buffer to educate Ghanaians. Thank you.
My Lord, you become aware of, because you talked about patriotism, let me ask, you become aware of the Ghanaian pledge, that pledge, I promise on my honor. Can you recite it?
Mr. Chair, I'm not sure I'm able to recite it.
Which aspect? Not the full, any.
Well,
what you can.
My brother. Yes, the nominee is honest to say that I will not be able to recite it. So why will you insist? I mean, an honest answer has been given. I wouldn't be able to do this, but do it. No.
Lord, I did not say that in spite of you saying you can't recite it in full, you should still recite it. In spite of what you're telling us, that you can't recite it in full, you should still recite it in full. That was not the mainstay. I only said, share with that those aspects that immediately comes to mind. Do you get what the point? The aspects that readily comes to mind. You've admitted that not in full. So which aspect readily comes to mind?
I promise on my honor to be faithful
and loyal to
Ghana, my motherland. Thank you.
I promise to hold in high esteem our heritage won
for us
through the blood and toil of our fathers.
Exactly.
I promise to hold in high esteem
won for us
toil of our fathers.
Yes.
And I promise, pledge myself in all things to be faithful
and loyal to God,
to uphold and defend the good name of Ghana.
So have you seen the way you are also
because I am helping. If you don't, the man, no, stop. Chairman, put off your mic. This is, look at, okay, if I'm struggling, can you do it yourself? If I'm struggling, I have made an attempt. If he said he couldn't, and I say, oh, an aspect. You are now telling me that
that is why I am not making an attempt.
Then allow me, I would want to make an attempt.
Because I don't want to struggle.
Don't worry, I would want to boldly make an attempt. When I make a mistake, I be corrected. I'm not afraid to make a mistake. It's good to make a mistake to be corrected.
But let me say this, honorable member, I think that in as much as a pledge, it's a great thing for all of us to know. I'm not sure Ghanaian patriotism must be anchored in our ability to recite a pledge only. There are other things that all of us can do to demonstrate our patriotism to the country. Thank you.
Lord, with respect, you've used cases that are justiciable. Your student would want to help them with the principle of justiciability as expressed by the courts. I mean, just a bit of it they want to understand.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The ticket that's come to mind is the SIBA case. And the Supreme Court clearly spoke out clearly on what will make the directive principles or the provisions of directive principles of state policy become justiciable. So I'll invite any student to look out for that case and read it. Thank you.
Very well. Lord, we've had 2 election petitions. The 2012 election petition, and one of the contentions of the plaintiff applicants, which the majority of the court rejected was to the effect that some unsigned document that the EC had relied upon should lead to annulment of those results. Of course, the majority of 5 said no, those are mere errors, etc. But the substance of it must be upheld in spite of the statutory provision that says that if it's not signed, it should be annulled. In this case, the Supreme Court gave effect to the law in spite of express statutory provision, the CI of that. What is your own view on situations like this, where there is an express provision guiding an act by a constitutional or statutory body upon which a litigant mounts an action?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I think, again, as we've been fed by the apex court, these decisions come down to the approaches of interpretation. For those who believe in textual commitment, they will say that this is what the law says and will apply it. For those who look at the purpose, the now profoundly used purposive approach, they combine that to make the decision in order to arrive at doing justice. My view is that there must be textual commitment to statute and the Constitution, and if that will not result in injustice, then maybe you look out for another means of interpreting. Thank you.
Now, if you look at the decision of the court in the 2012 petition and that of the 2020 election petition, by the way, my lord, you're familiar, by the way, you're very well. Do you think that there are any serious matters of legal opinion to be reconciled?
Mr. Chair, cases are determined based on their peculiar facts. 2012 petition was based on the facts which were presented. 2020 decision was based on facts presented. And therefore, and we all can learn from any decision which is given by the Supreme Court. Yes, so there are lessons to learn, but I'm not sure I can sit here and say that there are matters to be reconciled. Thank you.
Lord, with respect, you've been at the Court of Appeal for 7 years, you said.
No, please.
How many years, please?
2.5 years. High Court at 7.5 years.
So you've been at the Court of Appeal for 2.5 years. Very well. Now, have you had any judgment of yours being overturned by your superiors?
Mr. Chair, not to my knowledge. There have been a few ones that I've seen affirmed, but I haven't seen one overturned. Thank you.
Your stay at the Court of Appeal, have you had the occasion of dissenting in opinion?
No, I haven't written any dissenting opinion at the Court of Appeal yet. No.
My Lord, I want us to delve a bit into mob justice. These violate right to life, presumption of innocence, and due process. We've dealt with issue of arrest. This is also another arm completely unlawful. Of course, the Constitution protects life and provide for due process. How, in your view, does mob justice and lynching violate such constitutional rights under Article 13 and the presumption of innocence under Article 19? And what should be the judicial role in enforcing these constitutional safeguards?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I believe in the fact that nobody can use mob justice, demonstrations to resolve a legal matter. If somebody has done something wrong, the judicial process should be allowed to take its place. Using mob justice clearly is illegal, and people who engage in it must be dealt with by the law. Thank you.
Akwa we pa wajidin. Afenyo Markin. O jidin. O judin. But said we be kind. A dear agent a dimpa. And I say dimbone. O judin. Afenyo. O judin. A ding. Baby, I will be up as a tonka. Like, again, no one want to see you. I want him go and see our quackwaje. You see, what me force and nominees a chinching and try on your baby. Charm of the committee, a true dream season was a day be done. The old canon one obey. Or allow ourselves the yashi montrance on your my dear, once or go you and mercy. Koreas and no more money magwasi. In your mind, you just want to disgrace the Supreme Court judge nominee. So they be in public and say, to be a Supreme Court name the national anthem to. Be a Supreme Court who name the national anthem to. Na joy for it, TV3 for it, GH1 for it. Supreme Court first in history. Yenya Supreme Court judge who name a national anthem to. How come any publicity obitima safeguard the justice of Ghana? Senka the opposite winya no. Denka we no. Once Korea se no mumu ni makwa kugwase. This Supreme Court judge has been justice to every question obisano. So far, on any the Supreme Court judge, ubisana sema watia sema correct answer. Ubisana sema onka pardon. Ubisana onka se come again. Ubisana sema onka se I can't answer. Ubisana sema onka se I don't have any idea. Or answer with sincere answers. Yes, to take advantage to abuse that a right on the amount to the extent of on to the national anthem. Nippans win him to papa. Was the chinchin I want to obey you know say national anthem is not the only thing I say Bekan winning obeying national anthem to our say like the Pakoni a patriotic. Kind of right to him national anthem to me boy. I go for him to me boy. Ni ban him to me boy. Ni rein him to me boy. The ministers or them buying to government and omunim to me boy. Ghana could be saying pato. You see no and your castle you walk the talk. To know train dreams is say the national anthem is not the only thing in Pakoni patriotic. There are so many things in Pakoni patriotic to the country. Niema mukasa mbayama Ghana for my she chrono alleged criminality say APP free mama by moba. And which is a mere patriotic. To win him Ghana national anthem to so just a patriotic. Even doing him to a but win him to now one for months and 1 year man for to be any so. Win my dear no too. Win my dear no. Now say we implementing a dear now win him now for so be any so. As is a way swing a dear so culture exams. Now we swing an say exams did any do not so one culture. 9th I was trying to see a dinner for so be any so. You have to prove sample winning. And only a dear can answer. So this is a disgrace our gene. Even though chairman and co stop your and beaka this disgrace in master now no one casano person with you within person will go every nominee or your background person will go any mass. And one say one what it is and because of the way our dear of us no so bedding baby meet your more Supreme Court. Inti I want some man for a fan who dream a bonato. There be a money time. To our office and the way and the annoy them what was why. So for this the Ðisgṛáce a Afenyo General Parliament under the committee meeting on Monday the Supreme Court judges. Subscribe to my Newz so they Akroma.